So there's a new patch today in Call of Duty Black Ops 6. This is November 4th, 2024. This just came out like an hour or two ago, I think. And there's some pretty significant changes in here. So I'm just going to go through this with you real fast. So stability things, progression, like these things aren't really that crazy, but Nuketown's now available in private matches. So the big things here are there's weapon changes we'll get to in a second. Another big thing is that the spawn logic has been adjusted. Hopefully it's better now. Because if you're like me, it's been very annoying the times where you spawn and someone's already shooting at you because they were just happen to be looking right where you appeared. Like, hopefully that's a little bit better. We'll see. It said spawn tuning will be an ongoing process of taking in data, reviewing gameplay, and making measured adjustments in the live environment. Our number one goal is to always provide the safest spawn that we can across all maps and game modes. So hopefully that'll be an improvement. We'll have to see how it goes. And then there's a bug with loadouts, and hopefully they fixed it. But the big thing here is the weapons. So the top-down explanation is it's been awesome seeing players discover and share their favorite weapon builds during the first week of launch. Every day we monitor both player feedback and game data to keep tabs on how the weapon meta is evolving and prepare for a comprehensive tuning pass in Season 1. We have seen the discussions about the relative balance of assault rifles and submachine guns, and we are making some early general changes to adjust their effective ranges. For ARs, we are pulling in minimum damage ranges and lessening the impact of headshots at close range. SMGs are receiving damage range increases to improve their mid-range effectiveness. So basically, what happened here is some of these guns, they upped some of the ranges. Some of the guns, they made it so they only have a maximum minimum damage range now. So, and there's also, damage adjustments to headshots. So the XM4... So just an example of some of the stuff. So the XM4, it does 1 less damage at close range now, but the close range is now defined as instead of 0 to 7 meters, which is very close, it's now 0 to 16.5 meters is the range at which you do this full 21 damage. And then starting from 16 meters to 40 meters, you do 20 damage instead of 21. And then greater than 40 meters, it just does 17 damage. Now, some of them got, changed like that. Other ones got changed like the AK. So what happened with the AK-74 is that instead of having a 0 to 5.7 and then a 5.7 to 41, it's just now it has a 0 to 38.1 range. And also the damage got nerfed by 1 point. It only does 27 now. So basically you are either within 38.1 meters or you're outside of 38.1 meters. If you're inside of it, you do 27. And if you're outside of it, you do 22. So it actually got a little bit buffed at longer ranges, but got nerfed at shorter ranges, so I don't know which way to take that. I mean, it's overall it's a nerf, but I mean, does the 1 point of damage make a big difference? I don't know. It's not a huge change. But the bigger change here that got nerfed it was for this one, the headshot multiplier got reduced from 1.3 to 1.15x. So headshots basically don't even matter now. Like, I mean, they do because it could be like 5 versus 4 shots to kill or whatever ends up being. And also, I should have mentioned on the XM4 with the CHF barrel multiplier got reduced from 1.48 to 1.42, which is offhand, I say that's not a big deal, but at the same time, I'd have to actually crunch the numbers because is that the difference between do you need an additional shot now to kill someone if you hit one headshot and then all chest shots? There's a lot of nuanced math I'd have to crunch on all these, so I'm just kind of giving the top down, quick on this, and then I could look at that later and actually go through the hardcore numbers and then see if I wanted to. So then we got the Ames 85. This one got changed like the AK. So now its damage got nerfed by 2 points, which is much more significant than the AK. But its range got changed. Really, its range kind of got nerfed in a way. So in a way, I think this one's kind of more of a nerf because now it's 21 damage at close and mid range, where it was 23 at close and mid range before, and that range got reduced before the 17. So the Ames got nerfed pretty significantly, but the headshot multiplier, whatever it is for the Ames, unchanged. So that's kind of interesting. I'm not really sure what it was before because some of these have they don't all have the same headshot multiplier. Like this one had 1.3 before, this one had 1.28. So I don't know what is offhand. I don't know if it says somewhere in game, so I never noticed. Anyway, the GPR 91, this one it got I guess just nerfed really, but the effective range of close range it just got nerfed because now it was before it was 0 to 10 meters did 23, and then 10 to the maximum of mid range it did 21. Where now it just does 21 at close range and 20. So the GPR 91 got nerfed. Just straight up got nerfed. There's no benefit to that. It's only down for that. The Model L This one looks like another case of just getting nerfed. Yeah, this one just got nerfed, and the effective mid-range also got nerfed. And then it actually got the Model L, surprisingly, though, got a buff for long range. So that's something to keep in mind. It does 1 more damage at long range than it did before, but it's overall, I would call it a nerf. And then if you include the headshot multiplier, that got nerfed. It, just like the AK got from 1.3 to 1.15x headshot multiplier. The Goblin MK2, this one, it's just, yeah, another nerf, just like the other ones, just nerf. Yeah, and there's no tangible upside. The long range is identical to before, so it just, Goblin got nerfed. The Val, oh, this one has 4 of these. All right, I just paused for a second on the recording so I could look at this, and yeah, it's just a nerf. There's no upside. It's all just nerfed. Not obviously super significantly, but that's definitely just numbers only down. So the SMGs, they got adjusted. Now SMGs also have a multiple damage ranges and stuff like that. But overall, most of these, it's the same story. They just got buffed, but not by much. They all do the same damage at all the same ranges, but those ranges got increased. So instead of close range being 12.7 on the C9, now it's up to 13.3. And the next medium range one, 15.9, is now 16.2. 27 to 30, you know, it's all the same. The big thing I just be looking at here is these numbers right here. So we're like, yeah, just increase in range very slightly, all the same damage numbers. Then the Tonto, though, its close range did not get increased, but its medium range got increased. Its medium range 2 got increased, and long range got increased. So, but that's still a buff. Just Tonto does the exact same thing, exact same close range, though. No change in that. And then the PP919, same thing. You know, all ranges got increased, same damage. Jackal, all ranges got increased slightly, just like all the others. No change in damage. And for the Compact 92, same thing, increase in ranges and no increase in damage. Okay, then they also have something to say down here about shotguns. So last week we fixed an issue with shotgun slugs, but we are still working on additional issue causing this attachment to perform better in hipfire than intended. Slugs are meant to offer an alternative playstyle for shotguns that trades close quarter effectiveness for improved range and precision. We are removing the ability for slugs to one-hit kill to the body for now, and we'll be revisiting the overall tuning of this attachment in an upcoming update. Okay, so the Marine SP, the slug attachment, max damage goes from 106 to 92. That is massive nerf for the shotguns. Both of them went from 1 shot to 92. Because before, I mean, I distinctly remember being at the top of the escalator on, I don't remember the name of the map. It's like the stadium. I forget the name of the map. And there's a guy like almost at the bottom of the elevator, and I peek over and just insta-die in 1 shot, you know what I mean? But the thing that's so crazy with this nerf is because it's going to affect, I forget which one. I think the ASG, the slower shotgun, the one where you load 1 shell at a time. I can't remember. I get the names mixed up. But the slower shotgun, it's like, oh my gosh, because before, like now it's like you shoot once, you got to wait however many 100 milliseconds to take that next shot. I mean, at that point, why even use a shotgun if you're using the slug at least? Like, why, you know, I don't know, that's a tough one, not being able to one-shot with a shotgun. The other one's not as big of a deal because the faster shotgun shoots faster, so you could still get the second shot off, I guess, but I don't know. I haven't used the shotguns a lot in this game, so I know it could be a little bit wrong with some of the things I just said right there, but like I used them for a second, you know. I used the one for a whole game, and then the other one I used just like for a moment. And I that was my impression, but I haven't had time to actually grind out each shotgun because I've been working on zombies, working on campaign, working on all these things for videos and YouTube, so I haven't had time to, you know, use every gun for 5 games and plus, you know. Anyway, so we got perks, the recon combat specialty. We reduce duration. The enemies are highlighted after respawning to 1.5 seconds from 2 seconds. An additional reduction will be coming before Season 1. Yeah, that's probably necessary. I use that because it's extremely overpowered. I think even 1.5 seconds is, I mean, okay, no matter what they do to this, it's probably overpowered. I mean, it's kind of a weird give and take because if they make it too low, you'll literally spawn in and you won't even be able to look around before it wears off and you won't be able to see anyone. But the power from this is not the continuous. I mean, it is, because sometimes you spawn in a spot where a guy is just about to peek you and you see him coming, and then you basically have wall hacks and he comes around the corner and you just shoot him. And that's kind of not the intention of it. So, like, reducing the time. Because what you want, the point of it and what they really should be going for is you spawn in and you look and you go, oh, that's where everybody's at, and now I go to play the game. Instead of that lucky scenario where you spawn in and somebody peeks you and you just pre-fire the corner because you're wall hacking for 2 seconds. So Yeah, I think this should probably get reduced to 1, but this is a step in the right direction. As someone who is abusing this right now when I play, I think it's hilarious and fun to use. I think it's fun to use. It's super overpowered. Anyway, resolved an issue that allowed players to activate recon combat specialty by changing loadouts. I was not aware of that, but all right. And then dispatcher. Increased dispatcher perk score cost for UAV from 500 to 550. Increased dispatcher perk score cost for counter UAV to from 550 to 600. Now, I have not... I don't remember exactly how dispatcher works, but I don't use it, so I don't remember, but that's the TLDR on what's going on there. As we had in Season 1, we are continuing to observe data and feedback for perks and combat specialties in multiplayer. Currently, Enforcer is the most popular combat specialty, with Recon in second place. It's not just about the data, though, as your feedback is a critical part of how we approach tuning of the live game. With that said, we are making some spot adjustments today as we continue to take a holistic look at our perks and combat specialties moving forward. As we. So anyway, equipment, flashbang. Reduced flashbang tactical screen effect duration by 20%. I wonder how that scales, because that's what I'm wondering, because you know how, like, the further away you are and the angle you're looking determines how badly you get flashbanged. Does it get a 20% reduction in all scenarios? So now if I would have been flashbanged for half a second, is it now 0.4 of a second? Or is this only for like a severe flashbang where the screen goes fully white and I'm just done? Like, I'm going to assume all, but that's something that have to be tested. But I think that's probably necessary, because when you get a full flashbang, it's just over, man. Like, it is, if they push it all, there's no hope. Like, even... Like, where now you have to get a flashbang to where you're actually in a good position to take advantage of it. Whereas before it was like, I mean, you still have to be in a good position to take advantage of it. It just tightens those windows, though, is the thing. Where before it was like, even if you're down a hallway, you can run, slide down, get around the corner before it wears off if you got a good flashbang. So probably a good thing. We'll see, though. So score streaks, increased health of UAV and counter UAV, rockets to destroy remain unchanged. Probably good. I remember so many times I'd be in a game and you're UAV and I hear one of my guys run outside and you hear bang, 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 UAV destroyed. So probably good. Now you'll actually need that perk for penetration, the FMJ round or whatever it was called. If you actually want to get it, maybe. I don't know how much they increased the health of it by, so it just depends on what increased health is. I don't know how much they did. Anyway, increased initial explosion radius of napalm strike. I haven't used it much, so I don't know what the explosion radius was before. It's hard for me to quantify that with not having played for hundreds of hours of multiplayer yet. Reduce the initial entry delay of the LDBR. That's probably good. Again, I haven't used it. I don't think I've used this one at all, but it's a buff. That's a buff for that. Increase the fly-in speed of the strategic bomber, so that's a buff. Reduce score cost for interceptors, so a buff for interceptors. Okay, movement updates. Adjusted stance change cooldowns to reduce effectiveness of repeated prone to stand movement. And then they say, in brackets, enough shaking. I think I know what they mean, but, like, I'm not 100%. Are they talking about where you can just, like, you mean a gunfight with some guy, and while they're shooting, they would, like, lay down, get up, jump, lay down, get up, jump, which at the level that it's putting, because, you know, it does MMR, and I'm at the point now where this doesn't really come into play in mine, because the time to kill on mine is like everybody hits 80% accuracy, so it's like the second you see somebody is dead within 300 milliseconds, which is not enough time to go prone and get back up at all. Like, if you go prone, somebody's dead before you can stand back up. So I'm not sure if that's what that means. I'm just not sure. I mean, so, you know, we'll see. I'll have to find out exactly what that means. Just that wording's really confusing on that, but I think I know what that means. Anyway, XP earn rates. Adjusted player XP and weapon XP earn rates for most modes to ensure that players are being rewarded for their match performance as expected wherever they play. These changes include increased weapon XP earn rates for most modes. Very badly needed, because before it's like, literally just go to zombies. Because in zombies, in 20 minutes, I can get a gun leveled up from 0 to 20. Or in multiplayer, in 5 hours, I can get it from 0 to 20. You know, it's just stupid. Anyway, increased player XP earn rates for the following modes. Deathmatch, Control, Search, Destroy, Gunfight. Slight decrease to player XP and weapon XP earned in face-off modes. Okay. Challenges. Addressed an issue where players were able to complete the nuke challenge while dying. Okay. UI appropriate perks will now display when viewing the featured player during the best play. So, you know, not that important. Known issues. Gunsmith. We are investigating an issue where any equipped optic attachment is removed when entering the gunsmith in main menus. Oh, that... Dude, I hope they fix other issues with this. Hold on. Players will not notice this issue if entering gunsmith during a match. Players can equip optic attachments, but will need to re-equip them anytime they enter Gunsmith in the main menu to adjust attachments. Let me read that. Players can equip optic attachments, but will need to re-equip them anytime they enter Gunsmith in a main menu to adjust attachments. This is new then, if this is like, because I haven't had that, but that, okay, well, keep an eye on your optics, because when you're changing your muzzle, it might just swap your optic, I guess. In cases where an optic is locked and equipped via a blueprint, players will need to reapply the blueprint to obtain the optic. Okay. Zombies. UI. Gobblegum names will now properly update when switching between their tabs. And that's it. So that's the whole patch note. So my overall thoughts on this, as somebody who's I've had enough time to play 2 full days of multiplayer, like full 12-hour days of multiplayer, and it's put me at pretty high-level games now. Obviously, I'm not like an actual Call of Duty pro, but I'm pretty good at these games. My take is SMGs are going to be insane now. It depends on the map. Like, I don't make videos about best weapons and then beyond best weapons, like how to be good at the game, which is very complicated because it's like you need more than one loadout, and you know, certain maps SMGs are good, certain maps assault rifles are good. So basically, the assault rifles getting nerfed is kind of good. I mean, it's probably good because, but it depends on the map. Because if you're playing, I don't know the names of the maps. I always forget the names, but there's one where it's like a really small building and there's grass everywhere and vines, and everybody tries to get up in the second floor of the building, and oh my gosh, it's like the super close range. I wish I knew the name of it. Like in that map, this change doesn't change anything. You're an idiot if you play that map with an assault rifle, basically. Like, you should have been playing with a submachine gun, because all that matters on that map is time to kill. You're point blank on people constantly, and it's just how fast can you shoot them down. But if you're playing on, again, I don't know the names of the map, but there's the one with like the broken satellite dish that everyone snipes out of. If you're playing with that, well, then assault rifles were OP, and using a submachine gun is a little questionable because you're always shooting people at medium to long range. So, you know, these changes are a good balance between these things, but you're still, if you want to be good, you still got to use loadouts based on the map if you want to be smart about it. But I guess really the changes they should be making, it sounds like they are making, is to the point where it's not just like, oh, I can just run the, what the hell was it, the Model L. I can just run a Model L on all maps across the board, and it's better than every gun. Like, that's what they're trying to prevent, and I think this probably worked in the right direction. Again, 2 days of like, so 20 hours of multiplayer, not enough time for me to know all this stuff for sure, because I've had to do all these other things like zombies and everything, so I can't just play multiplayer. But from the amount I've played and the elo it's put me in, which is pretty high now, I think this is probably a good thing. As for the shotgun with the slugs, it's probably good. Like, it just depends, because I would need a test to see what is the effective one-shot range without the slug, because if the one-shot range without the slug is too low, it's a weird thing, because like, you don't want people to use a slug and then just use a shotgun and one-shot people from like 15 meters, which I don't know what the range was before. It was pretty damn far. I mean, it was basically the whole range of the escalator on the stadium map, which is way too far for a slug. I mean, at that point, you should be having to use a sniper rifle to hit someone in one shot, you know, that's 7.62 or something. So I think that's probably good, but again, I have to actually play through this a lot to make sure of this stuff. I need like 100, 200 hours to really be, know for sure on this stuff. All the other stuff, it's too hard to know for sure on every little detail. I think the XP was a really smart thing. I think that's good. It was asinine to have to be like, I basically am an idiot if I don't just go to zombies to go get my attachments, which will probably still be the case because zombies is so fast for weapon XP, unless they really buffed it, which I strongly doubt. But maybe. We'll have to see. But yeah, overall, I think the patch is probably pretty good. But again, I need more time in multiplayer, and I hardly have time to do it. Like today, I got to go do zombies and make all these guides and things. I might have to do campaign stuff today, and it's like I slip some in when I can. I'll be making some multiplayer videos soon, hopefully. But it's just hard to manage everything. But yeah, so that was the November 4th patch notes for Call of Duty Black Ops 6. That's what's going on. Hopefully helped you out. Now you know what's going on with the latest patch in Black Ops 6.